Hey my friend, I hope this video finds you well. I've worked on a number of projects over the years where I'm trying to get closer and emulate that beautiful, intimate Elliott Smith sound with mixed results. This project, however, I think went really well and got me much closer, and there's a number of techniques, plugins that I've applied to get me much closer to that sound. That's why I want to share it with you. Let's dive straight in. Before we get going, I just wanted to let you know about a free vocal EQ cheat sheet that I've got for you right now. It's going to be super helpful when you're mixing vocals. You can print it off or stick on your desktop. It will be there for you to help you every time you're working on a vocal. You can grab that for free just by following the link below this video. Okay, so to kick things off, let's take a listen to a before and after first off. So I've got a couple of guitar tracks here. They were recorded in stereo with a couple of little Lewitt SDCs, and I've got my vocal here, my main vocal. So let's just bypass all of the plugins and take a listen.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in. Close your eyes, run faster now. We'll find a place to fit in.
And let's bring the plugins in and take a listen.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in. Close your eyes, run faster now. We'll find a place to fit in.
So first off, the vocal was recorded with a TZ large diaphragm condenser microphone. Quite I would say, not sizzly, but quite a bright microphone. So certainly there was some work to do with that. I was sort of debating whether to use that or my Octavo, which is a darker microphone, but actually I think this has worked out pretty well. When it came to actually the recording and the positioning on the mic, I think I could have got away with being a little bit closer to the mic, even though I was really quite up there and intimate with it. But we'll discover now when we look through the EQ choices that I had to ramp up some of the low mids to get a sort of more of a fuller sound. So once again, I think you can get really close to the mic when you're and play with the proximity effect when you're really looking for this particular sound. So let's take a look at the EQ moves in this vocal chain. So first off, I'm using Pro EQ, which is the stock EQ within Presonus. So a couple of things that I'm addressing here, and it's super important when you are EQing vocals, particularly doing your cuts, and you may be doing some boost sweeps to find where those problem EQs are. It's really important to make sure that you're answering a question rather than just EQing for the sake of it, because you know, if you boost sweep on an EQ, everything sounds horrible. So around 2 to 6K is typically where you're going to find harshness. I was hearing quite a lot of harshness in the vocal, so I've got a couple of cuts here. And I've also got a cut, it was sounding a bit roomy as well, just past 500 Hertz, a little bit boxy. I've rolled it off at the top as well, just addressing some of that harshness a bit further. I think on my channel strip, so I've kind of dealt with the problems first. Then with my channel strip, I'm just doing a little bit of enhancing. I've got a little bit of saturation. I've got a boost in the high shelf, a little bit of a boost at 7.2 for a little bit of clarity, and also I'm adding a little bit of that low mid warmth as well. As I've mentioned at the top, I think I could have got away with being a little bit closer with the mic, and those Elliott Smith vocals are really quite rich and full. You know, particularly when it's just guitar and vocal, it really fills out and sounds really big. So that's what I've done with a Neve style desk there, just a little bit of an enhancing with the EQ, and then finally a bit of further sculpting. With this EQ, MoQ from the guys over at Kit Plugins. I like plugins like this because they force me to use my ears. Sometimes I'm just twiddling knobs and just listening rather than looking and focusing in on numbers. But again, what I ended up doing was ramping up quite a lot still on those low mids and mids, just to fill out that vocal somewhat more. And a little cut here I've done as well at 2K because it sounded good. Let's just take a listen with those EQs off.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
And let's take a listen with those EQs on.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in. Close your eyes, run faster now. We'll find a place to fit in.
So all's going in the right direction. After that, I brought in a de-esser just because I've ramped up some of that high end. Things are getting a little bit harsh up there. So next up, let's talk about compression. So I've read Elliott Smith would have had access to an LA2A. It's quite possible this was a compressor that he would have been using around the time of Either Or. Perhaps, let me know if you know. Let me know in the comments box below. There's not that much about the studio that you can find online, so if you guys know anything, I'd love to know more. But certainly would make sense. A compressor like an LA2A is going to smoothen and fatten and richen out his vocal, and Elliott's vocals were really lovely and lush. So that kind of makes sense. So I'm running through an LA2A, and I'm also running through an MJUC from Klanghelm, just the Mark 1, super simple, older style compressor. I don't think it's necessarily modelled on any particular compressor, but it's got a really nice sound, I find, of vocals, for certainly adding a bit of character and fattening up. So in between those two as well, I've also got another de-esser, as the LA2A just enhanced, brought out a little bit more of that harshness again. So I've got two compressors and two de-essers, and this is what they sound like.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
And let's take them off.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
So it's really fattening out those vocals, and it's bringing them forward in the mix as well. Now, you will have noticed up to this point we've been working with a mono vocal. We're not working with a double track vocal. Of course, Elliott was really famous for double tracked vocals. That was a really big thing of his sound. I did double track my vocals. Here's the other take just here. But as with a lot of times previously, I just never quite felt like it clicked in and never quite got that sound, and so I've really worked quite meticulously sometimes to double track them very closely, and never quite felt I achieved that kind of quality of sound until I reached for ADT from Waves, which is their automatic double tracking emulation, and I can't find anything on the web which would suggest that Elliott Smith was using ADT. But it does kind of make a lot of sense because he was obviously a huge Beatles fan. You can hear that in his music. And ADT was created by the boffins at Abbey Road to speed up the double tracking process. So let's just take a listen to ADT on and off. And I think this is a really cracking plugin from Waves.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
And with it off.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
Of course, you're going to get the full benefit of that if you're listening in stereo, listening on your studio monitors, or you're listening on headphones.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
Now, there's a number of different presets on here. I just played around, and actually it was Rock and Roll Strong, which really got me quite close to the sound. Another thing which I really like playing with this plugin is the drive. So you can drive.
Close your eyes, run faster
Source.
now. We'll find a place to fit in.
And the ADT.
See the walls of chocolate. Watch the carpet melt with.
And it really helps to fatten out, and you get that kind of lush, tapey fatness, which again I think is really synonymous with Elliott's sound. Talking of tapey fatness, it kind of takes me on to talk about tape as well, which I'm running through the guitars, and I've also just put the tape on the mix bus as well. I'm running through tape from Softtube. Let's just take a listen to that on and off.
Fear. The sky hangs biscuit
With it
brown
off.
round each and every tear. Around each and every tear.
Tape on.
Take a drink of wine, my love. We'll smile forevermore.
It's subtle, but it just seems to glue and add something together, and it's certainly when it's on the mix bus along with the guitars, which we'll listen to in a moment, it really helps to bring everything together and just bring something else to the party. And of course, Elliott Smith used tape. He used a 4-track right at the start, and then I think a Tascam 38 quite possibly on Either Or. If you know anything about that as well, let me know in the comments box below. The more I know particularly about Elliott Smith and his recordings, the better, because I'm a bit of a super fan. So yeah, you definitely want to be bringing tape to the party if you're emulating that sound. Finally, I use a little bit of Abbey Road Chambers. Another great plugin. Once again, you've kind of got that Beatles link that Elliott would have been working towards, and he did end up recording, I think, in Abbey Road, maybe on Figure 8, the last album, when he was signed with DreamWorks. So I've used a little bit of this as well, just this smooth vocal preset, and then just dialed it right down, so it's pretty subtle. So, you know, everything's pretty dry here.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
But it's a great sounding plug-in, this one, without.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
Let's bring it back in.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in.
Okay, let's bring our guitar back in. I mean, just a quick word on the guitar as well. I mean, Elliott used a Yamaha Dreadnought. It was quite a big, full sound. I didn't actually start this recording when I was recording the guitars really thinking about this sound. I just started because I was interested in doing a little bit of stereo miking, and it's turned into this little project. But certainly I would say with the guitars as well, I've ended up EQing and bringing in quite a lot of the low mids again to fill it out. So certainly if I was doing this recording with my acoustic guitar, I would have got a bit closer to the lower end of the guitar and brought in a bit more of the bass and the low mids and just biased my mics a bit more. Let's take a listen to what we've got though. That's without those plugins on the guitar. Let's bring them back in.
Take a trip to the sea, my love. The wolves are closing in. Close your eyes, run faster now. We'll find a place to fit in. See the walls of chocolate. Watch the carpet melt with fear. The sky hangs biscuit brown round each and every tear. Around each and every tear.
So that's my effort at getting closer to an Elliott Smith sound. That was my vocal chain revealed. What did you think about the moves that I've made? Have you done some recordings looking for this sound? Let me know in the comments box below. I want to hear from you if you know anything about also Elliott Smith's recording techniques. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, and whilst you're down there, why not grab your free vocal EQ cheat sheet too? You can grab it from the link below this video. Go and have yourself a great day, and if you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to want to check this next one out.